Now, however, in the midst of this kind of poo-pooing dietary protein and wanting to avoid it for living longer, we not only have to appreciate the effect of the muscle, but we have to kind of desperately appreciate the fact that with humans and our survival, depending on the maintenance of our lean mass and the maintenance of our brain and the fats that come with those brains, the further we're getting from animal sourced foods, the more nutrient deficient we're becoming, not only in nutrients at a kind of micro level, but also just good fats and these best proteins. We don't want to avoid protein in an effort to live longer. Moreover, I guess back to the fertility aspect, in men at least, we know that the further men get from animal sourced foods, the lower their testosterone levels are and the lower their sperm quality gets. So this to me further suggests the fact that a diet that is devoid of animal products is a diet that is incompatible to the human species.
And kind of coming back to, we were talking about, a menopausal woman, let's say now she doesn't have that estrogen protective effect and her fats become a bit more hypertrophic. If we are able to maintain or even add to her lean muscle mass, let's say, then that like one of the things we know about muscle, of course, is it is a beautiful glucose sink, right? It's a kind of independent of insulin, really. It can kind of take glucose up, phosphorylate it, and then it kind of stays in the muscle for the use of the musculoskeletal system. And then now when we have a, musculoskeletal system, we'll say, that can take in excess glucose, then you're negating the need, we'll say, for insulin to kind of pump, like get ready and rev up and get the glucose out of the bloodstream. And we're going to be protecting that fat cell from becoming too big, right? So then we're protecting that hypertrophic effect as well.
And I am an enormous advocate of resistance training. In fact, to the point that I believe minute for minute, a man or a woman is better served engaging in resistance exercise than aerobic exercise. I stand by that very, very strongly because of the evidence that just suggests how critically relevant muscle mass is in longevity and lifespan and overall quality of life. What good is it living an extra 20 years if you're sitting on a couch or in a bed? We want those 20 years. We want to square off the curve of mortality rather than having this slow decline. We want to stay functional, and then drop dead. And muscle mass is largely the predictor of that phenomenon. And so we need to make sure we train like it. And so I don't mean to sound kind of derogatory by saying it this way, but I will sometimes joke, maybe to my sisters, women need to train like men. And I only say it that way because women tend to have an aversion to actually exercising in a resistance fashion to fatigue. There will be this, I'm lifting these 10-pound dumbbells and I do it 10 times and I'm done. And she didn't even come close to fatiguing the muscle. And moreover, I was making little biceps curls, and I'm actually very opposed to biceps curls. I don't like isolated exercise. I like complex movements. But nevertheless, whatever she's going to do it to fatigue. And so if the woman wants to lift a lighter weight, well, then do it to fatigue. Stu Phillips, professor in Ontario, it's funny, we're both, you and I, Stephanie, I believe, are from Canada. I'm from Alberta.
Yes.
I keep invoking these Canadian scientists. He published a paper finding that the level of hypertrophy in an older adult human was the same whether they did a higher weight with fewer repetitions or a lower weight with more repetitions. As long as they went to failure, they had the same degree of muscle growth. Even when they were older, humans are capable of growing their muscles even well into their 60s and beyond, depending on where they had been before that.